What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, this is Steven in Stereo, and I am so excited to finally be diving into Lana Del Rey's new album. That is, Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? Long title there, but has a lot of purpose. I have already checked out the title track as well as the track A&W, and I have to say that those were really great singles, really showcasing what Lana was going to be bringing to the table with this album. So I'm very much looking forward to this project. So before we get into today's video, I just want to plug my Patreon. This video, this album reaction, will be available as a full uncut album reaction over there, like as soon as I'm done filming. So we listen to the entire thing. We don't cut any pieces out for copyright or anything like that. Find a lot of people tend to like that. I also have some of Lana's other albums there as full uncut album reactions. The link is in the description. Otherwise, there'll be a YouTube version, obviously a little bit shorter, but hey, we still love you. So with all the things out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. This first track is called The Grants. I love how good she is at setting a mood just off the first like moments in a track. Like that's so good.
I'm gonna take my interview with me. I'm doing it for
I fucking love when she does that. Oh,
do you think about heaven?
love how beautiful these vocals are. Oh my god. Again, just really adding to that almost like gospel feel of this. So definitely the further into that track that we went, it kind of seemed more with this song being more aligned in just like with the namesake, it's the Grants, right? It's family. It's these lives that you like spent time around and that you grew up with, and it's, you know, the little things about yourself that kind of come down from like family characteristics and things like that. And all of this time spent, at the end of the day, you know, these people come and these people go. And as life continues, you want to be able to continue their memory. You don't want to forget about them. You also want to live in a way that you feel would be aligned with how, you know, they might live. And there's something very beautiful about that. It's sort of that forever feeling of family. I'm also just a huge fan of the fact that she has this, you know, very beautiful, very big choir-like experience throughout this entire song. I think what it does is it takes a slow-paced song and it adds so many elements to it. It gives a lot of body to it, and it really makes you feel the emotion. And Lana's like always been so great at that. Yeah, that's a good way to start this album. That's all I gotta say. Okay, we already did You Know? So this next track is called Sweet.
Up Griffith, thinking about who was said and what didn't.
Oof.
It's said in the midst of best method, the women here taught me about. Big bitch, go to the Beverly Center.
Cool. I don't know if you've ever been to the Beverly Center, but I imagine if you're looking for what Lana is describing and prescribing here, you could probably find it there.
My house on Genesee. Find me where no one will be. To my house on Genesee.
Woo! I'm just such a fan of her vocally, and I just love that with every release, including, you know, obviously the most recent release, like she is so on top of her game vocally. And so when she delivers, look, I get it. Maybe the tempo at which she creates a lot of music isn't for a lot of people. Like I imagine that some people are looking for like really upbeat stuff, and that's not usually what I'm expecting when I'm listening to Lana. I want to get lost in the music, and her voice does that. Her voice allows you to follow along on this journey, both sonically and lyrically, and she's always been so good at that. And I love this track because it seems to me that maybe Lana is showcasing, hey, maybe we had something, but you know, for whatever reason, it's not happening anymore. And I want you to know that I'm not just somebody. Like, you're not just gonna find me at the Beverly Center like a basic bitch. You're not gonna find, you know, this basic version that's somehow gonna be equitable to me. So if you are looking for this kind of love, you know where you can find me. But just so you know, there's not another me out there. And it's such a beautiful delivery. And I could be totally wrong about the meaning of the song, but it's such a beautiful delivery because that's what Lana does. She's just incredible. Come on. Okay, we did A&W. So this next one is an interlude. It's called Judah Smith Interlude.
Sound like love. It's a life dominated with lust. So, as he works deep in your heart, you're like tools in their setting. I know you are the
There's like, you feel so much motivation in it.
Who fashioned it all.
Actually makes sense. So in listening to this, obviously, like, I try not to interrupt it too much because it wasn't a song. It was more of this, obviously, interlude. We got a lot of conversation going on here. But at the end of the day, you know, it starts out by talking about this idea in which we are always striving for more instead of, like, and not even in like a good way. Like, it's good to be motivated and to push yourself forward, but we're always striving for more in a way that seems to cause us to not appreciate what we have in that moment. And so then we're always looking for something better than what we already have. And like I said, that is a path of real fucking destruction, honestly. Because if you can never find any sort of like happiness or calm within yourself for the things that are around you and want to give love to them even more, then, well, you're going to truly never be happy. So you can take the religious part out of it. That's a really great life lesson. And then it goes on to say here, and I'm sure that Lana is, it feels like maybe she's gotten more religious. But as I'm listening to this, you know, he starts to say, like, the reason that I preach, you know, I used to think it was because of all the beauty of who this, you know, God is or all these things. But the reality is I'm finding that connection and I'm understanding more when I do preach about these things because I want to talk about how great of this artist, you know, like God is, or the heavens are, the rhino creator, as he says. And I think, you know, on that part, like, obviously I'm not a religious person, but like, I could definitely see where there'd be appreciation in that. Yeah. If you want to look at where the world came from, that's a pretty beautiful thing if you think about it. But I like that she added this in the way that she did, just because it felt like like you're really there, like you're hearing her kind of reacting to some of the things that he's saying. Yeah. So there's a lot in that interlude right there. I see there's another interlude at some point here. So yeah, it's a little bit weird with interludes because it's like I talk about some of the context there, but it's not really a song, so it kind of feel weird. Okay, this next track is Candy Necklace.
My brain turns off for nothing. You're restless.
Woo!
Dancing like the young and restless, and I'm obsessed with it. Sitting on the sofa feeling super suicidal. I hate to say the word, but baby, ain't on the Bible I do. Candy necklaces. I think that we should address this. Acting like the young and restless.
Woo!
Candy necklaces. Candy necklaces.
Him, you got John coming in with this like deep ass voice, right? And so like the harmonies just fucking work so well because you get the best of both worlds in that moment. Meaning of the song maybe a little bit lost on me. I don't know if there's like a specific reference that I'm missing here. So based on just kind of what I heard, it almost sounded to me like she's in a relationship with somebody and they're acting pretty reckless. They're kind of out of pocket. They're kind of doing some things that maybe are destructive to that relationship or whatever. But Lana is obsessed with these candy necklaces. And in my head, I interpret that as being sort of like these sweet nothings. For example, like, you know, you're with somebody that treats you like shit, but like they also sometimes like buy you something nice. And then you kind of like forget a little bit about what they were doing. And so, and I'm probably totally wrong about this, but like, you know, it's my channel. I'm going to interpret it how I want. And so to me, this song kind of feels like this person doing all of these things, and I probably shouldn't be here, but I'm so obsessed with these candy necklaces. I'm so obsessed with these sweet nothings and these quote unquote sweets that I like am still trying to, put it together regardless. And so that's obviously a very toxic relationship. Again, I could totally be wrong, but I guess this next one is the John Batiste interlude. I just love that they're fucking creating a vibe off of this so well. Little bit of a fade out there, and here's the thing with those two interludes that we've listened to so far, they're both cool. I feel like it's always weird with reactions when an interlude comes in because there's not like a ton to discuss musically. But what I do like about both of these is that they almost felt like they were a window into what was happening at that time of recording. So even in this track, you've got the, you can just hear like the background noise. You can hear a chair adjusting. You can hear what sounds like Lana singing in another room. And I think all those things put together, especially with the instrumental that kept like, the pace kept growing. It kept getting like faster and faster and heavier. I think what that does is it just kind of like, because you should be listening to this, front to back, right? It kind of just like keeps you in the mood, keeps you in the spirit. Yeah, and I like what she did with those. So this is Kentsugi.
There for the third, 'cause I couldn't be there for the one who shoved the wrist. He thought mine was his to cough into his mouth.
Oof.
We've only got hours to do with them, but they say that's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
I feel like I'm standing in the desert. Like the wind is blowing sand around me. There's just nothing.
Probably running away on a meeting to say that there's nothing to do except know that this is how the light gets in.
I really like about this song is definitely in the first half of this, just this conversation about dealing with death around you and the sort of like imminent reality that death is coming. I also love the fact that she was really good at sort of teleporting you to kind of be in this moment and feel as if you're standing on this like freeway. Like I felt like I was just in the middle of the desert and kind of like having this introspective conversation with myself about the end. I don't know, based on first listen, what Kintsugi actually is. It is obviously a term for something, but what I felt throughout that second half with the, that's how the light gets in, it almost seemed to me as if embracing these dark pieces of life, embracing sort of the fact that there is an end and that it's coming, is how you actually let the light in. It's how you actually live like a more like peaceful life, is understanding that it will come to an end. There is something beautiful about that. If something lasts forever, it can get old and stale. Whereas life, although it'd be cool to live forever, would you really want to? Because knowing that you have this sort of, small amount of time, kind of motivates you to, live your life and have your experiences. And I just want to say that, again, I might harp on it a lot, but fucking Lana Del Rey's vocals throughout this are just incredible. They are refined. I feel like it's a sound that we've gotten from her for a long time, but there's just something about it. I can't quite put, maybe maybe once I finish the album, it'll make more sense, but like something about like, there's like a maturity in this album that's a little bit different than maybe, what I've heard in the past. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. This is Fingertips.
If I do, will you be there with me? Father, sister, brother.
Oh.
Charlie, stop smoking. Irony in the music, it's a tragedy.
Oh.
See nothing Greek in it. Didn't handle it. I was in Monaco. I couldn't hear what they said on the telephone. The lake twisting lime into the drinks that they made. have a babe at 16. Waves in the sea. Call me Aphrodite.
So there's a lot going on in this song, and honestly it's a little bit hard to follow at first. But like, you know, that's I guess one of the downsides to doing reaction videos. Like, you're seeing me listen to a song for the first time. I'm not always going to get all of the meaning of it. And I feel like in this track, actually this album so far, there's like a heaviness to it. It feels like Lana's going through a lot, because in this, it almost feels like she's having to embrace the death of someone that was near her or very close to her. And the kind of struggle that exists in that conversation. And, you know, at some points it does feel like it's like a little bit all over the place. And I think that that's exactly the way it's supposed to be, because when you're having these internal conversations, when you are trying to understand things on a deeper meaning, when you're trying to navigate through all of these things, it's not going to be beautiful. It's not going to be, this most like concise thought pattern. You're going to be all over. It's almost like having anxiety. And I think that in the way that she has put that together in a song like Fingertips, it perfectly executes what your brain is doing as you're trying to like think about the future or try to understand what's happening in the now. And for that reason, I really love this. I will say that because I don't quite know the meaning of it on the first listen, there's a lot of information kind of coming in. It's a little bit jarring at first to try to follow, especially when you got Lana, who just sounds so fucking amazing, that like, I'm also catching on to that too, and her going into these like super high ranges but still getting that soft approach. It's just fucking incredible. So a little bit difficult to follow at first, but I think the meaning is there, and it's really fucking powerful. I mean, like I said, there's a maturity, there's a vulnerability in this album, a little bit different. All right, this next track, Paris, Texas, featuring SYML. All right.
It's time to go. When you know, then the more you know. It's time to go. To leave like the summer breeze. When everyone's star is bright. Worry home. Hello, I called to no one.
So kind of feels like Lana left something that was going on where she was in California, and it kind of seems like she went on the southern European vacation. What I mean by that is, you know, you got Paris, Texas, Florence, Alabama. You're essentially going to all of these towns. I used to live close to Egypt, Texas. Like, there's all kinds of these places, right? And it kind of feels like Lana maybe left this to go and kind of like travel a little bit and get away from whatever was going on at this moment. And kind of in going through these times and seeing people move on, she's kind of following these different towns, and then eventually wants to go back home. And then it kind of sounds like maybe Paris, California, and talking about the fact that she gets back and this person that was there is no longer there. And in that conversation also saying things like, you know, almost felt like a call out of this person, just kind of saying like, you know, because even when you're there, you're not there. And then when you're right, even if you're wrong, kind of just saying like, it's always going to be your way regardless of anything else. And so it's almost like this soul searching adventure that Lana went on, all to come home and realize that this person that the struggle was kind of happening with wasn't even there anymore. Like, it was just over. It ended. I love the instrumentation of this a lot. I love the vocal delivery. It changes up every once in a while. And I think there's something about that where, even though like we know it's perfected in the sense that these are studio albums, like obviously there were multiple takes, things like that. But I love that there's almost this imperfection that is like they're doing it on purpose. Like there's a reason why like they're switching up some of the timing and things where there's something like beautiful about everything not being so goddamn 100%, because life's not 100%. You know what I mean? All right, this next track is Grandfather, Please Stand on the Shoulder of My Father While He's Deep Sea Fishing. Holy shit. Featuring Ryopi.
I know they think that it took thousands of people to put me together again.
Kind of feels like this is addressing the I see people talk sometimes about the fact that, you know, Lana was created, like, you know, this is not who she is, and she was manufactured. And I always think that's like stupid to even say things like that, because it's just kind of like, manufactured or not, and I don't think that was the case, but manufactured or not, like, you can't be manufactured to be Lana. Try, do it. If you could, like, do it by all means, get that success. But it's got to be very difficult because you're always chasing this. It's like, there's like all this stuff going around about these quote unquote like Nepo babies. And it's like, it's unfortunate sometimes that like trying to gain success or trying to, you know, follow your dreams, if your parents or grandparents were successful, suddenly like writes off any success that you might be able to accomplish. Oh my god. It's so beautiful. God damn. So what I get from that track is just this idea that Lana could only be successful because of who her parents or grandparents were. And behind the scenes of her entire career is this fabrication. And there's all these people that are essentially, as she says, turning me into a Frankenstein until I just zap me into place and I start making my music. And, you know, it's hard for people who aren't empathetic towards that or to understand kind of the reality of that, to fully comprehend how impossible it is sometimes, like, to be able to showcase your talent for what it is and, you know, not have to spend all this time kind of like defending where you came from and stuff. And I feel like that's something with Lana that it's like a kind of like a rumor, whatever, that's kind of just always followed her career. And I've always thought that to be interesting because I said it before and I'll say it again, regardless of it, you know, what is or is not true. If someone were to take you and put you in a room and get a bunch of people behind you and, you know, put you together to be this amazing star, guess what? You're not going to be Lana Del Rey. It's not going to happen, because if it was, you'd already done it. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, just because there's these ideas about why people are successful, it does not mean that that is the reason they're successful. It does not mean that that is why this works, because if you are put in that same position, you are not going to be as good. It just is what it is. I love the chorus in the song so much. It's so strong. It's the best vocals I've heard on this album. All right, Let the Light In, featuring Father John Misty.
Wanna have fun? Don't be acting like I'm the kind of girl who can sleep. Let the light in at your back door, yelling 'cause I wanna come in. Ooh, let the light in. Ooh, let the light in at your back door, yelling 'cause I wanna come in.
You gotta have a good fucking love song like this. Especially when you turn those lights on. Look at them. Already fucking tangled up in the sheets again. Bringing that love and letting that light in. That is what I get out of this song. This is it's a love song. It's about people that, you know, maybe fall in and out of love or fall in and out of a relationship. And the idea being that Lana is the light in this situation. And so let the light in. I'm at your back door banging, trying to get you to let me come in. Now turn your light on and look at where we are again. We're wrapped up in the sheets. We're sort of like back in this wondrous field because I can be that light for you. And I love the delivery of this, especially with having John Misty in the vocal moments when it comes to that chorus, because I think it really adds to that idea of this being, a love song, not to mention the fact that the instrumental is perfect for a little bit of swanging and banging, if you know what I mean. You can light some candles, throw the Beatles on, do whatever you got to do. Once you're done listening to the Beatles, you turn this track on, you're getting into it, and it feels very much like that 60s and 70s fucking love moment, and it's great. All right, Margaret featuring Bleachers.
'Cause baby, if your love is in trouble, baby, if your love is in trouble, baby, if your love is...
Yeah, gotta run, your head's on fire.
When you know, you know. When you know, you know. Maybe tomorrow you'll know.
God, this is such a good collaboration.
Join the party. By the way.
I'm obsessed with this collaboration for so many reasons. One, I love just lyrically the storytelling aspect here of the idea being like, when you know, like when you know if you're in love, when you know if your love is failing, when you know that you just found the one, like it'll all make sense when you know it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to try to time everything just right. Everything will line up when you know that it's time and when it's going to work. And I love the instrumentation in this. It helps. You got the full band, obviously. You got Bleachers here. Come on, Mr. Antonoff. You're going to have this great relationship because Lana and Jack obviously already have this great relationship. They've worked together so many times and it sounds so beautiful here. I love, again, the character break when Lana is like, hey, join the party, and having these talking bits, again, takes away some of the perfectionism and adds a little bit of reality. And I think that's a very beautiful place to be musically. This is a great collaboration. I hope when I see Bleachers this summer, I don't know how they would play this without Lana, but maybe they could do a version of it. That'd be pretty sick. All right, this next track is Fishtail.
You wanted me sadder.
Oh my God.
Can't you see? Maybe I'll take my glasses off so I stop painting red flags green. Lately.
Maybe I'll take my glasses off so I stop painting red flags green. Holy shit. Oh.
Don't you worry, Saturday, that you'll break my head when you get home tonight if you don't really care.
I fucking love this song. My favorite song on the album so far. There's just a lot going on here. One, I'm obsessed with the composure of the song. I love the fact that there's that drum and bass section coming in, and it just it hits in a way that pulls the song forward and really pulls you in. And you've got Lana essentially having this conversation about, being with somebody and truly loving those moments, but then kind of the reality of what's really happening is that you're embracing this person who really only wants you to be sadder. They don't really want to care about you in the way that you want to be cared for. And so it kind of seems like you're consistently getting further into this relationship, knowing full well that it is not good for you. And despite how much you are becoming aware of it, you can't seem to get yourself out of it. And the delivery of this track is just next fucking level. She sounds so great vocally. Again, going back to the instrumentation of this, it's just so amazing to hear her over this style, knowing full well that all of these songs could be put into that. But it's special because they're not. And you only get it every once in a while. And when you do, it works so well. I mean, anytime I'm going to hear Lana just talk her shit, speak her truth, and do it in the way that she does best, which is this beautiful Hollywood style voice, I'm just gonna be absolutely obsessed with it. Okay, Peppers featuring Tommy Genesis.
Chili Peppers, we write hit songs without trying all the time, all the time. I take off somewhere. Hands on your knees, I'm Angelina Jolie. Hands on your knees, Angelina Jolie.
I like, this is so sick because you're already getting like that experimentation level from Lana anyways, just vocally, in everything she does. But like when you're adding these other elements of, you know, you've got these hip hop elements, you've got these samples, you have all these other pieces coming together. It shows that like Lana is not like a one trick pony. And I've never thought that anyways. If you go through her discography, you can hear so many styles that she's done. And, you know, she's obviously a huge fan of hip hop and stuff too. So it's so cool to see that kind of like intertwined into her music, though we've seen it in the past, intertwined in this way. And I love this because, again, it's a song going back to kind of like talking that shit. And really, when I say talking that shit, I don't mean like in some negative way. I mean like it's Lana literally just like bringing us through almost like a day in her life. Like we're listening to the Peppers, I'm naked dancing around for the neighbors, my boyfriend tests positive for COVID, I don't care, I guess I have it also because we've been kissing. The point is, it's almost like we're just living a day with her, and a day with Lana is probably like perfect for like a song, just like we're getting here. And again, just back to the experimentation. I'm just a huge fan of hearing her work with something that we know she's already so great at and plugging it into various pieces like this. It just works. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she's a fan of these things, and also vocally she could do a lot. So like I can hear her vocally doing whatever over anything, and I'm probably going to be a fan of it. Okay. Last track is Taco Truck X VB. Maybe Virginia Beach. No, not Virginia Beach. Why would I even say that? Venice Beach. I've never even been to Virginia Beach. Venice Beach. Let's do it.
Better, I can be violent too.
Ooh.
That's why they call me Lanita. When I get down, I'm bonita.
Hey.
Don't find me.
Woo.
Bank kiss, kiss. You heard my baby's backing down now.
Ooh.
You should come over. We'll be hanging.
I love this sample.
You should come over.
Oh, I get it.
Back to the garden.
It's a Venice Bitch collab moment.
Oh, God, miss you on my lips. It's me, a little Venice bitch. On the street with the neighborhood kids. Calling out, bang, bang, kiss, kiss.
A nice little surprise at the end.
Bang, bang,
It's like she
kiss,
knew.
kiss.
What a cool fucking way to end that album right there. I just love the fact that there was a really heavy use on the instrumentation there to allow, you know, you get this intro from Lana, we go through Taco Truck, and then kind of have this transition, and then we get Venice Bitch. And I love the way that it is sort of structured, because it really like fucking pulls you, and just like at the end you're like, yes, I'm gonna fucking bop to my favorite goddamn track. Maybe that's just my experience. I don't know. Before I wrap this up, just want to say, like, if you want to watch the full uncut album reaction, which judging by the timestamp on mine, it looks like an hour and 34, so probably an hour and 40 minute long video. Nothing cut out. Links in the description. Check out Patreon. But what I want to say is that this album, there's a lot going on here. There's a heaviness to it, and I think it gets maybe lightened a little bit at the end, but there's a lot of heaviness here because it kind of feels like Lana is having to cope with death and getting older, and those are very difficult things to deal with, especially whenever you're finally having to embrace those things. And it kind of feels with tracks like The Grants and with Kentsugi, Fingertips, I feel like with those tracks, there's an intensity of understanding that there is an end and trying to be strong in those moments, but also embracing the love that you have from these people and not wanting to die, not wanting to have to go to that next step. And I think that even though it's only a handful of tracks, that heaviness kind of like it weighs on you. Those are really deep tracks. And so I think there's kind of this nice mix after, well, I guess before I get to the mix, there also seems to be this relationship that is also kind of like either, I wouldn't necessarily say like Falling Apart, maybe it fell apart and this is the aftermath. And I hear that in tracks like Candy Necklace, which I could be wrong about, but it kind of feels that way. I also hear it in Paris, Texas, as well as Let the Light In. Now I know Let the Light In is, as I said, a bit of that like love track banger, but if you're in the midst of a relationship that's falling apart, then it wouldn't be in your best interest to be letting the light in all that often with someone that you're breaking up with, because that can really suck too. And then there is, you know, a conversation like grandfather, please stand on my shoulders, or please stand on the shoulders of my father while he's deep sea fishing, where Lana is kind of like openly discussing the fact that everyone thinks that she is this byproduct of money, fame, and a team putting her together. And again, I will just say, fine, you get those same things and you show me that you can be Lana too. Well, you can't. And so I think that it's got to be very difficult to navigate forward in your career when everyone is always trying to bring you back down because they assume something about your background, or, oh, you had a successful parent, grandparent, whatever. Well, then nothing you do is because of you. It's only because you had that. And I think that that is obviously incorrect, as always. The interludes were really cool in this because, again, with reactions, it's a little bit hard to talk about the interludes because there's not usually a lot going on in them. But in the case of Judah Smith interlude, I feel like there's a decent amount of content there. Again, even if you're not a religious person, there is something there. Then with the John Batiste interlude, just getting to hear some of the background sounds and kind of feel like you're there while Lana's like on a piano, recording vocals. Like, it's just a really nice mix to these things. And when you're listening to this album in its entirety, it's kind of cool to have those moments come together. I kind of feel like tracks 1 through 10, like that was one album, and then like there was a bonus section which was like 11 through 16. There was just a little bit different sound, a little bit more of the collaboration moments, and I'm actually kind of glad to see it all just come together as one. I'm sure there's probably another bonus album or something, but it's just kind of nice because usually people would be like, here's the 10 songs and I've got this 6-song bonus track or bonus album you can only get if you buy this version or whatever. So it's really cool to see all those. And again, Lana sounds incredible in this album. We are at another point in Lana's career where vocally she's just so strong, and it's at the point where she can literally talk about anything. In some of these songs, there were literally ramblings of us getting Lana just talking in her mind about things that are going on. But like, because she's so great at the delivery of that, we're fucking in love with it. So I love this album. I think it's really great. I definitely want to listen to it a couple more times to truly have like a strong opinion on it. But on first listen, it's so great. One thing I will say, I'm never a fan of reacting to Lana's albums. The only reason I say that is because these albums are really meant to be experienced by yourself with some headphones on, truly enjoying the moment, because there's a lot of instrumentals, there's fade-ins and fade-outs. It's a little bit hard for reaction videos. However, I want to fucking talk about these albums because they're so great. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comment section what your favorite tracks are. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.